actually, we'll kick things off with the weather. Matthew Martin is with me, meteorologist at Met Éireann. Matthew, what's the weather situation at the moment around the country?
Good evening, Kieran. Well, the cold spell is going to continue through until at least Friday, with very cold temperatures and widespread frost and ice. And there are also a few wintry showers about in the north and west today, but they're going to become fewer and further between over the coming days. At present, we have a status yellow low temperature and ice warning in effect nationwide, and that's in effect until Friday morning. But we do have a higher level status orange low temperature and ice warning in effect for most of the country tonight and again for tomorrow night. So there could be some dangerous travelling conditions on roads and underfoot, along with the potential for some travel disruption and animal welfare issues. So that's the latest.
So what parts of the country are going to experience the most severe temperatures over the next few days?
Yeah, so tonight we're expecting temperatures to widely fall below -5 degrees and perhaps as low as -8 or -9 degrees over the snowfields there across the South Midlands and Southwest. So that's where we're expecting the coldest temperatures tonight.
And how does that compare to the coldest temperatures we might generally expect at this time of year?
Well, certainly it's significantly below average for the time of year, but it's not too unusual to have these type of temperatures at times during the winter period. So nothing too dramatic, but certainly very, very cold, especially over those snowfields across the southern half of the country. And it has been cold recently too. So further ice forming tonight and widespread severe frost. So obviously driving conditions are going to be hazardous, even where roads are gritted. So the advice is to slow down, drive with caution and be aware of other road users tonight and really throughout the rest of the week.
And you're confident that by Friday this cold weather will have lifted to a degree?
Not quite now. It looks like on Thursday night and Friday morning there's another band of rain to push in from the Atlantic, and it's increasingly likely that this will fall as snow across some southern and central areas into Friday morning. So no real let up until then, but it does look now increasingly likely that milder air will win out by Saturday and later into the weekend. So the cold weather is going to stay with us right through until Friday and including Friday itself.
And I assume, Matthew, kind of what complicates things is the fact that we had snow at the kind of the beginning of this cold spell, because I'm just thinking to say the part of the country I'm living in Kilkenny, I mean, getting down to -4, -5 might be a bit inconvenient, but what makes it kind of problematic is the fact that there was snow on the ground and that snow is now frozen solid.
Yeah, absolutely, sure. All that snow is going to freeze, and then there'll be some runoff during the daytime whilst it melts, and that will freeze on the roads too. So, and some areas, of course, are still cut off from the heavy snow. So it's just going to prolong the recovery from that heavy snow, and the melt won't be coming for a few days yet. So it is going to be difficult for some areas for a few days.
All right. Well, listen, Matthew, thanks a million for the update. Matthew Martin is a meteorologist with Met Éireann. Cameron Clark is with me from Newstalk's newsroom. Cameron, what is happening with power and water outages?
Yeah, so there's been a significant effort made to tackle the power outages across the country. So when we spoke yesterday, Kieran, there were 34,000 homes and businesses around the country without power. The ESB has told me this afternoon that's now been reduced to 10,000 homes and businesses, with the majority of those in Kerry, Limerick and Tipperary. They're the worst affected counties when it comes to power outages. The ESB has also told us they're not expecting a large number of new outages with these new weather warnings coming into effect over the next couple of days. But the weather will make it difficult to carry out repairs on those 10,000 homes and businesses that are currently without power, because of just physically getting to them is going to be difficult when the snow and the ice hits. So those people who are experiencing power outages, those 10,000 people, can maybe expect them to be without power again for another couple of days, maybe going into Thursday and maybe even into Friday, depending on how severe the weather gets. Now, the ESB has brought in helicopters to assist with their efforts. That's with transporting resources and assisting crews around the country. So they hope those helicopters will help speed up these efforts a bit and they can get to those homes that are without power. And as always, they're asking anyone who is without power at the moment to check powercheck.ie for any updates on when that may come back. Now, when it comes to water, there are a few more people around the country without water, 17,000 people without it as of the latest update from Uisce Éireann this afternoon. That's again down from 30,000 yesterday, so a significant effort being made to reduce those. And again, Tipperary, Limerick and Kerry the worst affected. The same when it comes to the power outages. Clearly the counties being the worst hit. Uisce Éireann has said it expects further disruption to water supplies in the coming days, with these two status orange weather warnings coming into effect tonight and tomorrow night. And it says that the freezing ground is going to put stress on underground pipes and its network connections. That's going to lead to further disruption. Households in the affected areas are urged to conserve water where necessary and report any leaks to Uisce Éireann. And when it comes to checking for updates there, you can check water.ie.
You talked a little bit yesterday about the HSE and how it was dealing with this in different parts of the country. What's the story today?
Yeah, so they've given us a bit more of a detailed update today. When we spoke yesterday, it was just about the services that were cancelled yesterday. They've gotten a bit ahead of themselves today. So in Tipperary, Limerick and Clare, any hospitals there, disruptions are going to be expected for the remainder of this week. So that's regarding outpatient appointments, non-urgent appointments. And the advice from the HSE regarding those three counties is to call the hospital if you have an appointment at all this week to confirm that it's still going ahead. And any appointments that have been cancelled, you'll be informed, and the hospital will be in touch to reschedule.
If anybody out there has had appointments cancelled, serious appointments cancelled, I'd like to hear from you. 087 1400 106. Some schools remain closed. I know our own school remains closed, for example.
Yeah. So the worst affected counties, your Carlow, Kilkenny, Limerick, Kerry, some in Laois, Kildare, they all closed yesterday. They closed again today. Unfortunately, the decision still lies with the individual school to decide on whether or not they'll reopen tomorrow. We spoke to Norma Foley yesterday, who confirmed, that it's not a Department of Education decision. We spoke to Taoiseach Simon Harris today, who reiterated that decision from Norma Foley. Now, he did say that he admits it's a significant burden for the people involved in making those decisions. I'm not sure how much comfort that's going to bring to the people making the decisions or the parents at home. But again, it's up to individual management at schools to make the decision.
Well, some schools, like I say, in my own county, Kilkenny, are open today and others closed. And I actually bumped into a few parents who were walking home from dropping kids to school this morning. And a point they made, and it's kind of hard to disagree with, was they thought that the footpaths are what should have been gritted, along with the roads. I mean, they were out and they do a great job, the councils and others, of gritting the roads. But if you're expecting kids to be walking to school when snow has frozen solid and the runoff as water has frozen as ice, you could do it gritting the footpaths, because they're absolutely lethal. And actually what kids were doing was just walking out in the road. It was the only safe place to walk this morning, which is hardly a sensible thing to be doing. So anyway, 087 1400 106. Like I say, if you've been impacted maybe by the lack of gritting on the footpaths or by those hospital appointment cancellations, I'd like to hear from you. Cameron Clark from Newstalk's newsroom. Thank you very much, Cameron.